All right, let's take a look at some composition of functions that are used in word problems. So number 18, the number of bacteria N in a refrigerated food is given by this formula. N of capital T is equal to 20T squared minus 80T plus 500, where capital T is the temperature of the food in degrees Celsius. When the food is removed from refrigeration, the temperature of the food is given by capital T of little t is equal to 4 little t plus 2. And little t is measured in hours. So we're going to find the composition N of big T of little t and then interpret its meaning in context. So N of t of little t is N of 4t plus 2, which is going to give us 20 times the quantity 4t plus 2 squared minus 80 times 4t plus 2 plus 500. And then to interpret this in context, so we're going to be finding N, which is the number of bacteria. And our formula has a whole bunch of little t's, and little t is the time in hours. So we're going to be finding the number of bacteria based on time in hours. Okay, so that would be an interpretation of what this formula will do. So we've skipped the whole temperature piece. We've removed that from the equation. So now we can just find the number of bacteria based on time. All right, and then the next question is, how many bacteria will there be after 2 hours? So that would be N of 2. So I'll put 2 in everywhere for little t. So I have 20 times 4 times 2 plus 2 squared minus 80 times 4 times 2 plus 2 plus 500. So 4 times 2 plus 2 is 10. So this gives me 20 times 10 squared minus 80 times 10 plus 500. If we run that into a calculator, we're going to get 1,700 bacteria are in the food after 2 hours. Okay, I would like you to read numbers 19 and 20 and see if you can come up with an interpretation. So you're looking to write down something in words like I did here for 18a. Okay, so pause the video, see if you can come up with what that will be. All right, so number 19, Q equals f of x is the amount of rice in tons to feed x million people. P is G of Q, and that's the cost in dollars of Q tons of rice. So we want to know, what does G of f of x represent in context of the problem? Well, now G of Q is equal to P, and P is the cost. So we're going to end up with the cost. And then our variable here is this x, and the x represents the millions of people. So this is the cost of rice based on x million people. Okay, number 20, a fireball has radius r equal to f of t meters, and that happens t seconds after an explosion, and the volume of the ball, V, is equal to G of R meters cubed when it has radius R meters. So what are the units of measurement for G of F of T? Right, well, G of either F of T or R is going to be our volume. So we know that this is the volume of the ball based on, and now we have to look at what this variable is. So G of F of T, so my independent variable is T, and T is the seconds after the explosion. So this is the volume of the ball based on T seconds after explosion. All right, so hopefully that gives you some insight into using composition of functions with word problems. I will be giving a test question that asks you to interpret what that composition is in context of the problem, so make sure you do feel comfortable making that interpretation there.